I'm Steph. I'm from Offmain, and behind me we have my D23 Nissan Navara. Looking for a new four-wheel drive, I wanted to go down the dual cab path. I was tossing up between either a Hilux, a D-Max or a Navara. To be honest, the price range on the Hilux I couldn't justify. The wait on the D-Max was an 11-month lead time when I was purchasing my vehicle, and I'm just a pretty instantaneous person, so I just thought, you know what, went and looked at the Navs, found out they had a coil rear, which is something that really drew me to it. And the price point was really good. I actually went with the absolute base model, so it's tradie-spec, there's no carpet, it didn't come with side steps or chrome or anything like that, which I really liked because it was going to be a black and white build. So in the end it actually ticked all the boxes. It was sitting on the showroom floor, so I pretty much drove it away the next week. My love for four-wheel driving actually came from my great-great-grandparents, and they used to run like fundraising trips through the Vic High Country for the local Lions Club out at Shepparton, Newmarket area in Victoria. And so we used to go on camping trips with them, and my dad absolutely loved it. So then Dad kind of just took with it, and that was like our family holiday. Dad ended up owning a four-wheel drive workshop and a winch business. So at the age of sort of 13, I was sort of opening up waterproofing and rebuilding winches. And then I think it just kind of snowballed. Then, you know, I was at that age where I learned to drive, you know, in private properties, setting up winch challenges with Dad. I got my learners, and then that was sort of, the rest was history. I sort of got my own four-wheel drive, got my own patrol, learned how to drive off-road, and never looked back. Yeah. My number plate is just my last name. So my surname is Pond, my nickname is Pondy. So I have the P-O-N-D-Y number plates, and my brother has P-O-N-D-Y-Y. And that's it. It was just my nickname growing up, just Pondy. But yeah, not many people in my like adult friendship group know me as Pondy. But if you speak to any of my high school friends, they probably wouldn't even know me as Steph. I just grew up as Pondy. One of my best memories four-wheel driving has just got to be the look on some of the girls' faces when we take them out there in their cars. And, you know, they may not have, they've either relied on their parents or their brothers or, you know, even their boyfriends, partners to sort of encourage them to sort of drive, and they're really good at running winch ropes and doing that sort of stuff, but the look on the girls' faces when they do it themselves, especially in their own vehicle, is just priceless to me. Like, I love encouraging the girls to just, they can do it too, and that's always amazing. Like, we've got so many stories of, you know, girls that have just, even a small little bog hole that we might think is tiny is such a huge achievement when you're starting. And the other side is just taking Oakley touring and, you know, being able to, you know, just get him out and about, and, you know, he's not an iPad kid. He just runs around the bush, picks up sticks, and, you know, he's got so many memories between here and Queensland that, you know, he just gets to be on the road, and he's probably seen more of Australia than most adults have, which is really cool. So yeah, I just love it, and I love just looking in my rearview mirror when he's asleep in the back seat, because I know he's had an awesome day and it's 3 p.m. and he's having a nap. So yeah, that's cool for me. I do have a really bad memory four-wheel driving with my dad. We were in an off-road competition, and in between the time that they set up the competition and we competed, they logged the whole side of a mountain, and we'd had 4 days of solid rain. So by the time we got there, we were basically in a landslide with nothing to catch us. So we were in a beat up stock Hilux, Dad was driving, I was 12 years old, and I just remember looking over the edge of this cliff thinking, this is it, we're gonna go off the edge of this and go tumbling. But Dad's an amazing driver, and we were safe, and he just kept driving us into the bank and nudging us all the way down this mountain. And I thought that was the end of it until I looked up and saw that our teammate's car was doing the exact same situation. So then we had to run up and try and save a brand new 100 series from doing the exact same thing. But both of our dads were awesome, so we ended up being safe. But from that instance, I now have a solid fear of driving down hills. I don't love it, but yeah, that's probably my worst fear for wheel driving. Yeah. So mods on the Nav are very sort of calculated, I suppose. So from the get-go, we did the Toughdog sort of 2-inch lift. So that's a 9-stage adjustable suspension kit. Because it's my daily, it means I can adjust it for on-road and off-road, just in the comfort levels and things like that. So we've got the suspension, obviously on the front, there's the Ironman bull bar. I did the color-coded bar, but left the hoops black. I just liked the look of that. It's got an ultra winch, it's got a 12,000 powered ultra winch in there. It also has the driving lights and the light bars. There's a lot of auxiliary lighting on the car. The reason for that is we race it off-road, and a lot of the time it's at night. And so we're looking for clues and tracks and things like that. So there's a lot of side lighting on the vehicle that we use just purely for racing. Then moving inside the car, we have the Razorback seat covers. I tell everyone they're for Oakley, but honestly, I'm a mess and they save me all the time. There's always makeup and food and I'm just on the road always. So Razorback seat covers save me like no tomorrow. And then underneath, we've got the BlackRock 17-inch fake beadlocks. They're not real. And the BFGs, the mud tyres from BFG, so the KM3s. I've been running those. That's the only mud tyre I've ever run, and I love them. So they're good for me for on-road and off-road. They're really, they're quite a hard tyre, so they don't wear like really easily. So that's good. And then the back of the car, which just has so much. So the basics of it is the Wiggly Engineering. It's got the Gen 2 tray from Wiggly Engineering and then the Canopy from them as well. And then we custom fit out the inside of that with like my specs on what I wanted. So we've got the fridge, the pull-out pantry with the table, and then the other side has all the drawers for storage. We've then paired that with an EnerDrive system. So it's got 200 amps of lithium power, DC charger, and a 150 watt solar panel on the roof. Fun fact about my roof, it's actually powder coated white, same as the inside of the canopy. And the reason for that is purely just for heat, just to try and reduce the amount that the inside of that heats up. And the secondary thing I did with Wiggly, they were amazing with me, is we actually custom made some vents. So the canopy's vented. It's got an air filter on either side. So I've just got good airflow. It just helps my fridge run a little bit easier and things like that, especially when we're on the road, you know, 40 odd degree days, things like that. Then at the back, it's got a trundle drawer, which is all the recovery gear. It has an air compressor in the under tray boxes. It's got a 30 litre water tank in the headboard, and it also has a 40 litre water tank underneath, and they're plumbed together. So 70 litres total. And then sometimes there's a rooftop tent on the top. So we've got the 4x4 network rooftop, which is great for touring. Oaks loves sleeping up there. That's amazing. And when we don't have the rooftop, we've got the Darchie swags that fit in the canopy. So the 1100 swag fits inside the 1300 canopy. Oh, the back of my car has a jerry can holder, a spare tyre holder, and also the chainsaw box, which holds an axe, my fuel, my bar oil, my chains, and all that sort of stuff. So that's really cool, and that's lockable. So I always know that it's there, it's safe, it's locked away, Oakley can't access it. The chainsaw box is definitely something I didn't think I'd need, something that Wiggly said we should do this, and I was just like, yeah, whatever, but it actually comes in really handy having a chainsaw on board all the time. And then fun fact, if you have a Series 5 Nav, the chassis at the rear is the same as I think it's a D23 Spanish-built Nav. So my tow bar, instead of spending $1,000 on a brand new tow bar, I got a $100 tow bar from the wreckers. And yeah, whacked that on the back. And now I can take Oakley's motorbike and a camper trailer. The next trip I really want to do for the Nav is a South Australian trip. So there's two parts to it. I don't know whether I'll do it in one go or two, but I really want to go do the Flinders Ranges. And I really would also like to go and do the York and Eyre Peninsulas as well, and do some coastal trips that are not the east coast of Australia. Yeah. So the Nav is pretty much done in terms of modifications. I would like to put an awning on, which we're just sort of working out the best way to do that so I can have the awning with and without the rooftop tent. But other than that, the Nav is done and we are full on planning our winch truck build. So we've got another Nissan coming to the Offmain family and we're going to be racing some winch challenges next year. So the Nav's being kept on the road, not going into the naughty corner, being the daily driver while we build the Patrol.